Good morning, students. Today I'm going to discuss the how to diagnose the bacterial infection. Here, so there are few learning objectives here that how to collect the sample and after collecting the sample, what are the tests you have to do. So at the end of the session, you should be able to know how to do the direct detection and how to do the identification and how to do the serology method and molecular technique. Here, serology technique and molecular method will be discussed in later part of the class. Only I'm going to focus more on about the conventional and automated technique. So why we are doing the identification of the bacteria? So here, identification of bacteria to identify the what is the organism responsible for the site of infection and what is the antibiotic can be given for the cure of the disease. And you can use for the surveillance purpose also, and you can use for the outbreak investigation. So next, this is the flow chart we are following, and once sample is collected, the sample depends upon the syndromic based. So based on the syndrome, you can collect the sample. For example, if it is a UTA, you can collect the urine sample, and based on the if it is a skin and soft tissue infection, that can be collected by a pus or X-ray. And this will be discussed elaborately in the last class. And next, once if it is collected, then you can do the direct microscopic examination. This direct microscopic examination can be classically we are doing the gram staining. Once if it is gram staining done, it is ruled out either it's a gram positive or gram negative. So based on that, you can proceed further. And second thing is a special staining. And the special staining, we have the acid fast staining and Albert staining. So in case of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, we are doing the acid fast staining to rule out the acid fast bacilli and non-acid fast bacilli. And coming to the, in case of Albert stain, we are using for the identification or diagnosis of the C. diphtheria, that is Corynebacterium diphtheria. And coming to the conventional culture technique, you after the confirmation in the direct detection, you can go for the conventional culture on the blood agar mechanica. This is the basic media which are used for the plating. Once if it is done, you can do the second day, you can go for the culture smear. Whatever the organism grow in the culture plates, you have to do again a culture smear. That is a gram stain. And second thing, motility. Based on the motility, you can go for it's a motile or non-motile. Because few organisms are motile, few are non-motile. Based on that, you can go for it. And once if it is done, you can proceed further biochemical reaction. We have set up reaction like for example, gram positive means we have the set of panels and gram negative means set of panels are available. Based on that, we can have a confirmatory test. And second, last final in the convention, it's an antibiotic sensitivity or antimicrobial susceptibility testing. So it is done, what is the drugs which is sensitive to that organisms. So this is the convention. It's the first method. In second, you can go for the automated. So here the thing is more rapid compared to the conventional. And third one is molecular method. So in this molecular method, the report will be generated very fast. Example, PCR or RT-PCR. And the fourth one is serological test. Here, serological test, we can detect the antigen or antibody. So this is the basic outline how we are diagnosing the organism. Today, I'm going to discuss only the conventional and automated. The serology part will be discussed in the immunological part and the molecular part will be discussed later. Coming to the culture identification, based on the culture, we have the conventional and automated. So conventional basically biochemical. It is the biochemical reaction. And coming to the automated, we have a list of automated missions. We will discuss one by one later. So these are the samples based on the syndrome. We have to collect the sample. For example, if it is a bloodstream infection, you have to collect the blood sample. If it is a urinary tract infection, you have to collect the urine. If it is a respiratory sample, respiratory infection, you have to collect the sputum, throat swab, like that. So this already discussed elaborately in the last class. So now proceed the once if it is sample collected, what are the media you will choose? So choosing the media purely based upon the sample, what sample you are collected. So according to that only, you are going to plate the media. For example, if it is an exudate, you can plate into the blood agar or mekanki agar. If it is a sterile fluid, you have to plate it on the blood agar. So chocolate agar you have to incubate 37 degrees Celsius in the capnophilic environment. So because few organisms will grow in the absence of the in the presence of the carbon dioxide. So sometimes you can use for the automated blood culture bottle also. Coming to the blood culture, you cannot inoculate directly into the blood or mechanically because these are the organism will be minimum. So it is not sufficient to rule out the diagnosis. So for that, you have to first inoculate in the blood culture bottle. For example, conventional we are using brain heart infusion agar. Once if it has a two kind of blood culture bottle like a biphasic or monophasic. If it is liquid part, that is a monophasic. If it is both liquid and solid means that is a biphasic. And we have the automated also that can be used for the blood culture. If it is a urine, you can go for the blood agar mechanica as well as cysteine lactose electrolyte deficient agar. If it is a stool, we can go for the mekanki, BCA, and xylose lysine deoxycholate. If you are suspecting Vibrio cholera, you can choose the TCBS, that is the thiosulfate citrate bisalt sucrose agar. So these are the medias you can choose based on the sample. What sample you are collected? How you are collecting sample based on the syndromic approach only. So once if it is your plated, you have to see the next day. You have to see the morphology of the colony. You have to see the size. Size may give the preliminary report. Like for example, if it is a larger colony, you can have an idea about whether it can be Staphylococcus. If it is a pinpoint, you can have it is a Streptococcus. You can have a idea. Further, you can proceed. So based on the shape also, some organism will be circular and some organism will be irregular. For example, Pseudomonas. Some organism will be dome shaped. For example, Klebsiella. Based on the consistency, also you can have an idea. Based on the density, based on the hemolysis, you can have a preliminary idea. It will give the idea to proceed further for the confirmation. Coming to the color of the colony, that also gives an idea what is the organism grown in the culture. The color of the organism purely based on the either media will produce the color change or organism will produce the color to make the media to distinct. For example, if the media, for example, mekanki agar, it divides the colony into two groups, either lactose fermenting colony or non-lactose fermenting colony. So there are two groups will be identified in the mekanki. Lactose will be pink in color, non-lactose producing colony will be pale in color. So based on the media which is differentiated into the two groups, we can have an idea. Like that, potassium tellurite agar also can be identified the C diphtheria. And second thing, there's a pigment production by the bacteria. So based on the pigment production also, we can have a preliminary identification. So the bacteria will produce the pigment that is either diffusible or non-diffusible. For example, diffusible means the bacteria which has produced the pigment that will be diffused into the media. But if it is non-diffusible, means the organism produces a pigment that will not be diffused into the media. This is the classical example for diffusing pigment producing organism. Example, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. That is produce the greenish, bluish green colony that is diffused into the media, makes the media become green in color. This is the golden yellow pigment which is produced by the Staphylococcus that makes the media remain, it is wherever the colony is there only the pigment will be distinct. Coming to the hemolysis on the blood agar. So it is also one of the clue that what is the organism grown in the culture. For example, based on the hemolysis on the blood agar, we have divided into alpha hemolysis, beta hemolysis, and gamma hemolysis. So what is the beta hemolysis? Beta hemolysis means complete lysis of the RBC. So here you can see this is the complete lysis of the RBC. The colonies are seen distinctly. So clear halo around the colony, that means lysis of the RBC. This is the example for Staphylococcus or Streptococcus. Coming to the alpha hemolysis is the partial hemolysis of the RBC. The partial hemolysis of the RBC means there is a greenish discoloration in the blood agar. And gamma hemolysis means there is no hemolysis on the blood agar. For beta hemolysis, we have the streptococcus, staphylococcus. For alpha hemolysis, they are the example streptococcus pneumoniae. Gamma hemolysis, they have the example are enterococcus. These are the classical example for hemolysis. So this is the, you can able to appreciate the clearance around the colony. So beta hemolysis. So this is also one of the beta hemolysis. It's alpha partial hemolysis of the RBC. It's a no lysis of the RBC. So coming to the biochemical identification, so we have the set of panels. For example, if it is a gram-positive cocci, we have the set of identification test to rule out the different gram-positive organisms. So, for example, we can do the coagulase test to differentiate the Staphylococcus aureus, and we have the CAMP test to differentiate the Streptococcus group B Streptococcus. Bilesculin test used to differentiate the Enterococcus. POR test used to differentiate the Streptococcus. Ilenin fermentation and bilesculin test. These are the tests to be able to differentiate the gram-positive bacteria. And coming to the antimicrobial susceptibility testing, that is usually what we are used for the antimicrobial drugs to treat the patient. But some drugs which is used to differentiate the bacteria. For example, optocin drugs are used to differentiate the pneumococcus. The zone, if it is there is a zone around the disc, that means sensitive. So that means it is a pneumococcus. Like that, bezitracin are used to differentiate the group A and group B. Rofenicin used for Staphylococcus from the Saprophyticus. Saprophyticus will be sensitive. Saprophyticus will be resistant. So this is the disc which is used to identify or differentiate the bacteria. For example, there is a clear halo around the disc. That means the organism are sensitive. Here we have kept the optocin disc to differentiate the Streptococcus viridans from the Streptococcus pneumonia. So if this is the test indicate that it's a Streptococcus pneumonia, this indicates that Streptococcus viridans means it is a resistant to the optocin. If it is resistant to optocin, that is Streptococcus viridans. If it is sensitive, that means the Streptococcus pneumonia. So based on the antibiotic disc, we can be able to speciate the organism. So coming to the other test, which is able to differentiate between the gram-positive as well as gram-negative. So catalase and oxidase is a basic test done to initially to proceed the further biochemical reaction. And for the gram-negative, we have set of tests which is available to rule out the gram-negative bacteria. For example, indole test, citrate utilization test, urea hydrolase test, triple sugar ion test. These are the tests which are usually done for the gram-negative bacteria to identify the genus level or species level. So let me proceed to the first test called a catalase test. So it is done basically, you can do in the two way. Either you can put the hydrogen peroxide and you can inoculate the organism, or you can inoculate the organism and you can pour the hydrogen peroxide. Basically, what you are detecting, we are detecting the catalase enzyme producing organism. If the organism having catalase enzyme, that will react into the hydrogen peroxide, release the water and oxygen. The release of the oxygen indicate bubbles. These are the release of the oxygen. That means effervescence or bubbles are seen because of the catalase enzyme that is reacted to the hydrogen peroxide forms the bubbles. If it is positive, the bubbles will be there. If it is negative, there is no bubbles on the reaction with the hydrogen peroxide. So usually catalase tests usually done for to differentiate the Staphylococcus from the Streptococcus. The Staphylococci will be positive, Streptococci will be negative. Based on this test, you can able to differentiate. Since the Staphylococcus is a gram positive and Streptococcus also gram positive, this test it gives the weightage to differentiate between the Staphylococcus and Streptococcus. Coming to the oxidase test, basically it is detect the cytochrome oxidase enzyme, which in this enzyme the organism has. If the organism has a cytochrome oxidase enzyme, that can be detected by using the oxidase reagent. So, for example, this is a filter. This is a filter paper which soak or pre-impregnated with the oxidase reagent. So we have to inoculate the organism, isolated organism. You have to rub it, and within 10 seconds, we will get the purple color. So if there is a color change, that means it is a oxidase enzyme producing organism. If there is a pale color, that is a negative. Usually, Pseudomonas will be positive and Enterobacterus family, Acinetobacter will be negative. So these are the classical example of oxidase enzyme. Coming to the indole test, is one of the tests to differentiate the gram-negative bacteria. What we are going to detect is a tryptophanase enzyme. So this tryptophanase enzyme, whether it is there or not, we have to detect. How we are going to detect? We have to take a peptone which has a tryptophan. So once you have inoculated the organism into the peptone water, you have to incubate, and next day you have to add a COVAX reagent. So that COVAX reagent react with the peptone which already broken into tryptophan. The help of tryptophanase enzyme, we have the byproduct like the indophenol component. That component react to the COVAX reagent and produce the red color, a cherry red color ring. That is a positive. For example, it's a Escherichia coli, Proteus, Vibrio will be usually indole positive. Yeah, that Klebsiella will be indole negative. So how they are done? You have to take a peptone water which has a tryptophanase, tryptophan. What you are going to detect? Tryptophanase enzyme which organism contain. So we have to inoculate the organism into the peptone water. The next day, if the organism has a tryptophanase enzyme that breaks the tryptophan into amino acids, that is tryptophan. Next day, you have to add a COVAX reagent. That COVAX reagent react with that medium and forms a cherry red color ring. So this is a classical example of indole positive. Klebsiella will be negative. There will be yellow color ring. That is a COVAX reagent alone will be hanging in the top. Coming to the citrate utilization test. So why it is a utilization test? The organism, whether it is utilizing the citrate or not, that we are going to detect. So we are going to check whether the organism able to utilize a citrate. So we have to provide a citrate, only citrate, no other energy source. So once it is provided, that is a Simon citrate media. You have to inoculate the organism into the Simon citrate medium. The organism, if ready to utilize a citrate, it will produce a color change, green to blue color. That means the organism able to utilize the citrate. If there is the organism not able to utilize the citrate, that change to remain in the green in color. Okay, this is a classical example for citrate positive Klebsiella. The organism able to utilize a citrate and forms a blue color. Some organism not able to utilize a citrate, that remains the green color. It's a citrate utilization test. Coming to the urease hydrase test. So some organism able to utilize the urea, that for that you have to provide the medium. That is a Christian's urea medium. Here you are giving the urea medium, inoculating the organism. The organism utilize the urea with the help of urease, split the urea into ammonia. So ammonia is an alkaline product that change the color into pink color with the help of phenol. Okay, so urease break down the urea into ammonia and react with the phenol red. They change the color from yellow to pink in color. So classical example, Klebsiella will be positive and Escherichia coli will be negative. These are the classical example for urea test, that is Klebsiella, negative Escherichia coli. Okay. And coming to the next test, a triple sugar ion agar test, it can be asked as a 2 marks. It's a composite media and it contains glucose, sucrose, lactose, and the ratio of 1 and 10, 10. Okay, 1 part of glucose, 10 part of sucrose, 10 part of lactose. Along with that, we have a phenol and ferric salt. Phenol used to detect the color change or acid production, and ferric salt are used to detect the hydrogen H2S production. So here we have the uninoculated PSI, triple sugar ion media will be red in color. So after inoculating the organism into the media, what is happening? Let's see. Okay, how to interpret? What are the things we are going to detect? One is acid production, whether bacteria are able to utilize the glucose or lactose or sucrose. That means it will produce the acid. If the organism able to produce the gas, that also you can able to detect here. And third, final, H2S production. These things can be detected within one test. So these are the classical reaction happening in the TSI. The first one is the uninoculated one. We have the butt, the down part is butt, and we have the slant. So we have the two part. One is butt and slant. While reading the reaction, you have to read butt and slant. You have to read first slant and then you have to go for the butt. Okay. So let me explain the three categories. One is the organism which is not utilizing any sugar which is present in the media. For example, what are the sugar present here? Glucose, sucrose, and lactose. The few organisms will not able to utilize the any sugar within the medium. For example, classical example, Pseudomonas. So, because of non-utilization of the sugars which is available in the media, the organism start utilizing the amino acids that is provided by the peptone water. Okay. So once the amino acids start utilizing, the media turn into alkaline, that is change into pink color. So this can be read as a alkaline by alkaline. So abbreviation you can use K by K. Alkaline means K and acid means K. So this is called alkaline by alkaline. That means K by K. It's a classical example for Pseudomonas and Acinetobacter. Here you can also detect either gas production is there or not. Here there is no gas production. Is there any H2S production? Nothing is there. So it is a K, sorry, it's a K by K. Okay, alkaline by alkaline, and no has gas production, no H2S production. And second thing, you can go for the either one sugar is utilized by the organism. For example, either the organism can be utilized only glucose alone. What is happening here? So this is a classical example I'm going to explain here. If the organism able to utilize only glucose, which is present in the medium, so it will start utilizing the glucose and produce the yellow color. That is acid production that is detected by the yellow color. After 8 hours, the organism not able to utilize a further sugar because the few organisms able to utilize only one sugar, that is glucose. The other sugars which is present in the media is not able to utilize. So what will happen? The organism start utilizing the amino acid which is present in the slant portions. So because of utilization of the amino acid, produce the amines that change the color into pink, that is alkaline nature. So this can be read as a K by alkaline by acid. So you can check whether any gas. No, there is no gas, no H2S. It's a classical example for Shigella. And in other way, the some organism able to produce the H2S. So same, the organism able to utilize only glucose and there will not be any gas production. Here, because of the utilization of the glucose alone, there will be yellow color in the bottom side. And there will not be any other sugar utilization because of the utilization of the amino acid which is present in the peptone that makes the medium into pink color. So it can be read as a K by A, no gas, but H2S is there. Okay. Coming to the third reaction, that means the organism can be able to utilize any sugar which is present in the medium. Okay, either can be used the gas or it can be used as a glucose or sucrose lactose. So that means after 8 hours, the organism start utilizing first glucose. Later, it start utilizing either lactose or sucrose. it forms a yellow by yellow, that is acid by acid. So it can be read as a by A. Okay, here you can able to see the gas production. Gas production, how to see the lifting of the medium or cracking or breakage of the medium, that can be detected on the either gas production had happened or not. So this is the another one I have forgot to tell you. Some organisms able to produce the H2S abundantly. For example, Salmonella paratyphi D and Proteus. These are the organisms able to produce abundant, that means excess of H2S. Few organisms will be able to produce a limited, okay, that is Salmonella typhi. So this is the classical example for TSI, and this can be how to read everything I have explained. This can be, this is the classical example given here. Okay. Next, to move on to the automated culture. So we have the BACTEC. So we have the BACTEC, and we have so here we have that blood culture and sterile fluid can be inoculated in the automated culture and identification technique. So BACTEC can be used or alert or virtue. So what are the advantage of using this? So what are the first, what are the advantage we would say? So there will be continuous monitoring will be there. Okay. So in case of conventional, we have to check, we cannot able to check daily every hours. So that can be detected only turbidity is there or not. If the turbidity is there, then only we can think about whether growth has happened or not. But here, the machine itself will be identified whether the growth has happened or not. So it's a continuous monitoring will be there. Okay. So continuous monitoring will be there. So because of that continuous monitoring, we can able to identify the growth has happened or not. And it is a purely trypticase soya broth and DHA broth combination we are using. Polymeric beads are used. Polymeric beads are used because of to inhibit the antibiotic effect present in the blood. So mechanism behind this calorimetric reduction, that means the organism start utilizing and produce the carbon dioxide. Because of the production of carbon dioxide, that change the pH variation. Because of the pH variation, that can be detected by the machine. So here I will explain. So this is the automated machine. So there are a slot, several slot is there. So these are the media which has that the BHA broth along the trypticase soya broth, and we have the polymeric beaded, and here we have a sensor. This is a sensor. Usually the because of the carbon dioxide production, the pH change, pH variation will be there. So if there is a positive growth, it will change the green to yellow color. That color change will be reflected in the machine and we get the signals. So like this, we are detecting. This is a purely calorimetric reduction. Coming to the virtue, it's a advanced over the factor. It's an automated loading will be there. For example, in the previous one, the door will be there. Each and every time, whenever we are going to keep the sample, we have to open and we have to keep it. Because of that, there will be a temperature fluctuation will be there. In order to avoid or overcome that fluctuation, we have to keep here, the samples are kept here. Automatically, the machine itself will take the bottle so that the result will be automatically. And second thing, the result will be rapid. And so another advantage here, how much blood is required, that is estimated by this machine itself. For example, the estimated amount of 8 to 10 ml is required. If it is less than 8 or more than 10, the machine will give a false positive result. So that machine itself will report as it's insufficient. So you can intimate to the physician that is not a sufficient amount of sample you have collected. So it can be avoid the false negative or false positive result. And coming to the another thing is the BACTEC. This is the BACTEC machine, and this is the purely in the fluorometric detection. Here also we have the soybean resin digested broth instead of trypticase broth. Along with that, we have the polymeric charcoal. And already I have mentioned the purpose of polymeric charcoal, that is it is used to inhibit the antibiotic present in the blood culture. It is what is the mechanism behind this? So organism are the bottle already, which is quenched with the fluorescence. So oxygen and fluorescent dye are quenched in the bottle. When the organism start growing in the blood culture bottle, it start utilizing the oxygen which is present in the media. If start utilizing the automatically, the oxygen will be separated from the fluorescent dye. So whatever detached from the oxygen, that is detected in the machine. So this is how the machine are detecting the organism growth. So what is the advantage here? It's a faster result, and identification also will be more faster compared to the conventional method. Even anaerobic bacteria also will be identified by this method. And coming to the automated method and identification system. For example, Multitaf and Vitec2, Phoenix, Microscan walk-away system. These are the machines able to identify not only organism alone, it is able to give the result with the species level along with the antibiotic sensitivity pattern also. For example, if you are going to detect the organism, so you can choose the multitough. Nowadays, the multitough because of the multitough discovered, the microbiology uh, organ and the diagnostic will be more rapid compared to the older conventional method. Let's me discuss about elaborately in the multitask. We have a two type of machine, that is Vitec MS and Bruker. So coming to the principle, it's a based on the ribosomal protein identification. So multitask, what is identifying the ribosomal protein, which is unique for each and every isolates. For example, if it is Staphylococcus aureus, the ribosome protein will be unique for Staphylococcus aureus alone. That ribosome will not be present in the Staphylococcus Saprophyticus or Streptococcus, anything else. It is unique for the Staphylococcus aureus. So based on the ribosomal protein, we are detecting the organism in the monitor. So we need the sample preparation. We have to smear into the well. Well is provided that kits along with that machine. We have 196 wells. So here the wells are given. Here we can choose any one well here. You can plate the sample in the smear on the well. After that, you have to inoculate the matrix solution. Usually, cinnamic acid are used in the matrix solution. You have to pour over the well. Only one well for each isolates. Okay, once if it is in pour the matrix solution, you have to insert in the machine. What is happening in the machine? Machine will produce the lasers. So it will fall on the wells. Okay. Once it is ionization and desorption happening. Because of ionization and desorption, ions are accelerated in the electric manner. So once it is moved in the ionizing chamber, it go for the analyzing chamber. It is a flight tube method. It is separated into charge based on the mass charge ratio. So larger molecule will be settled down and compared to the smaller molecule, which is move faster than the larger molecule. So the separation will happen in the analysis chamber. Once it is separated based on the mass charge ratio, it is detected in the detector. So this signal are produced as spectrum. So this spectrum we can be detected. We have the database. So already we have a database. Based on the database, we can compare with the test organism. So like this, the multitask was working. This is the important. We can get the result within 30 to 45 minutes. The organism, what is grown in the sample, we can able to detect. So coming to the Vitec2 automated system, this is one of the most important to identify the antimicrobial susceptibility testing, as well as it is used for the identification of the yeast also. So it has a 64 wells. Each well contain individual substrate are coated in that. So we can get the result within 4 to 6 hours itself. These are the wells coated with the separated substrate. For example, indole are coated here, and citrate like that. We have a 64 substrate are quoted here. We have to inoculate the organism and insert in the machine. We can get the result within 4 to 6 hours itself. It's a more rapid for the identification of the bacteria. So I hope you understand everything. I will summarize now. We have that conventional method as well as automated method. Before proceeding the convention, you should select the appropriated culture media and appropriated sample. And we have the conventional test like the biochemical test. We have the gram positive, we have the separate panel, and gram negative, we have the separate panel. And automated, we have the back and alert. We have the backtech, and we have the multitough and bitech too. We have. So most faster result we can get the multitough, and for the antibiotic microbial susceptibility testing we can use for the Vitec 2. So these are the MCQ. You can go through. What is the advantage? Everything Actec all except X. You can now we can read the question. You can answer yourself. Thank you.